excited to be here tonight representing the Cuyama Valley. My name is M. Johnson, and I would like to tell you a little bit about our nonprofit. It's called the Blue Sky Center. We have a mission to regenerate the land, economy, and communities of the Cuyama Valley. So since its inception in 2014, Blue Sky has been an advocate for expanding food access and food justice in the Cuyama Valley. We started around the same time as that development of the first phase of the Food Action Plan in the county, and have kept it in our back pockets as a tool since our beginnings as well. And so over this past year, we've been successful at really building the human capacity in our organization to carry out our initiatives along the areas of food systems and agricultural development, housing and innovative design, creative placemaking strategies, as well as rural entrepreneurism. So this year, with help from the Santa Barbara Foundation and Pacific Standard Magazine, we were able to formalize our first Food Action Task Force in the Cuyama Valley. And this task force ranged from some of our largest agricultural economic stakeholders in the valley and included representation from the Cuyama School District as well as the Cuyama Valley Family Resource Center. And what that task force was able to accomplish, utilizing the Food Action Plan at its core, was an opportunity matrix. So this opportunity matrix lays out short, medium, and long-term solutions in the valley that have economic investment potential from not only the agricultural sector in the valley, but also others in the surrounding Central Valley region. So the outcomes of that task force, we took that opportunity matrix and we utilized AmeriCorps Vista, which is, we have a food action coordinator through AmeriCorps Vista whose sole focus is to use the food action plan as a blueprint to carry out some of these projects. And they vetted these solutions to the community in a variety of ways. And the community gave us a response right back saying that their highest priorities include expanding nutritional education access, actually expanding food venture access with a commercial kitchen in New Cuyama, and potentially establishing a farmer's market in the future. So using those results, we applied for the LEAF grant this fall as well as the capital improvement grants to carry out some of these projects with the capacity of the Blue Sky Center. So we are a facility that occupies a 1950s mid-century airport with 22,000 square footage of industrial commercial space. We sit on just over 300 acres of alluvial farmland, and we own a commercial catering trailer currently and have a facility that could be retrofitted with our current permits for a cold storage facility in New Cuyama. And so right now, Blue Sky Center has the land, and we have the assets, and we have the passion and the drive to really create some of this change. And what we're looking for are the local champions to carry out some of these projects. And we're really excited. We see that our approach is integrated. So not only do our projects expand direct food access to an area that's classified as a food desert by USDA, but it also plants an entrepreneurial seed that creates vibrancy in our community and jobs, and also a really exciting and fun way to utilize our civic hub. So thank you for allowing me to speak today.
Thanks, Em. Okay. Let's see, let me make sure I'm in the right spot. Okay. Great. So next we're going to hear from Lee Sherman, Director of Community Impact for the Food Bank of Santa Barbara County. Or maybe we're going to hear from Eric Talkin from...
We had a better role.
Okay, good.
So we're going to talk a little bit. I have a couple of people here who work very closely on this program. Alma Sana is a community food access center in Lompoc, and one of the priority goals of the Food Action Plan was the creation of community food access centers where local people can go and can learn about food and access food and really find local solutions to food insecurity. And as Em was saying, nutrition education is very important. We taught this girl that if you plant celery seeds, they won't explode. although she's not quite sure at that point. But how do we get to this stage? Basically, as a food bank a few years ago, we were locked into doing things like this, which does not change people's lives, making them stand in the hot sun to get amounts of food that aren't going to long-term affect their nutrition. So we really have focused much more on getting away from this charitable model and focusing on community engagement. Let's not deal with clients, let's partner with people in local communities, and let's use food as the first step in community development. So our other focus area that we kind of really picked up from the Orfalea Foundation was the idea of food literacy. Forget about nutrition education. Let's give people the literacy, the skills to plan, budget, shop, prepare, and store food so that they can be healthy with food whether they have a lot of money or not. So that's really been a key thing for us. So Alma-Saint Asana is in Lompoc, and Anne Barquette, who is our community programs manager, is going to talk a little bit about that.
Thank you so much, Eric, and thank you for everyone for being here. I'm going to be talking a little bit about Alma-Saint Asana, and then I'm going to be presenting Sonja Sandoval, a really special person to me and to the food bank, and she'll be able to share a little bit more about her story. She was a recipient of these programs, waiting outside in the sun, getting those bags, and she rose to become a volunteer, to become a participant in our programs, and now she's actually a paid staff. So she'll share a little bit about her story in a minute. So this is a flyer for our community food center in Lompoc, and as most of you guys are aware, Lompoc kind of gets left out a lot in the conversation. We focus on Santa Maria and Santa Barbara, and so Lompoc is an area where there is a high need, and so we have this community food center that happens every Wednesday from 3 to 5. And each week we have different themes. So for example, the first week of the month, we do pass out food. It is a distribution, but it's not a full distribution. And then we might have Zumba classes, or we might do chair yoga. We might have hula hoops out there and get people to be active and talk about their physical health in terms of exercise. And then the next week, we'll have a food distribution. The third week, we will have community partners come, social service agencies, CalFresh, and really make it a community event where people are coming to receive food, they're coming to receive resources, and connect with other agencies in the community that they can benefit from. And then we also have a component where we do food literacy, nutrition education, and food demos. So the ladies that are coming in can get hands-on with some of the ingredients that they'll be taking home and learning new recipes with that. And so Sonja Sandoval is our Alma-Saint Asana coordinator, and she's going to speak a little bit more about that and her journey with the food bank. I will be translating for her as well. I am not a professional translator, so please have grace with me, but I will do my best.
She's not a professional, but she's my friend. She will translate the best way. Okay. Hello, everyone. My name is Sonja Sandoval. I am here to represent the Lompoc program called Alma-Saint Asana. And I am the coordinator. It's for me a great experience because I start with doing this volunteer. Go ahead. Volunteer, and now I'm working here with the food bank. It's for me a great experience, like living there in Lompoc, and like woman, like mother, like wife, and I love my community, and I put in all my passion and all my heart doing this, okay? Quiero compartir con ustedes de cómo empecé yo este proyecto.
She wants to share with all of you how she began this project and her journey with the food bank.
Yo soy una persona que a mí me gusta mucho involucrarme con mi comunidad.
She really likes to get involved in her community and seeks out opportunities to do so.
Empecé de voluntaria con el food bank. En ese entonces las personas con las que yo estuve involucrada.
She started out as a volunteer with the food distribution sites.
En ese entonces con las personas que yo estuve involucrada día a día. Me enseñaron muchas cosas donde yo pude poner en práctica mis habilidades.
So by volunteering and coming to food bank events and participating in the program, she was able to take a lot of what she was learning and put it into practice in her own home and community.
Y agarré experiencias hasta llegar acá, donde estoy.
And all of these experiences have culminated to her being right here in front of you guys.
Estoy contenta, motivada y agradecida.
She's happy, she's thankful and grateful.
Con todos.
With everyone.
Y trabajaré para que este programa sea un éxito.
She's working really hard so this program can be a success in her community.
Y seguiré poniendo todo mi empeño para que la comunidad de Lompoc haga cambios importantes.
She believes that Lompoc needs to make some important changes, and so she's going to work her hardest to facilitate that and foster that.
Como en la salud, en la nutrición, go ahead.
In health and nutrition.
Y tratar de tener una vida saludable en el condado de Santa Bárbara.
Working for a healthy lifestyle for all in Santa Barbara.
Muchas gracias a todos. Este es un trabajo muy duro.
Thank you to everyone. This has been, it's hard work, but thank you for letting me be here.
Pero nosotros estamos trabajando para el éxito de este programa y de la comunidad de Lompoc. Gracias.
But we will continue working hard for the success of Lompoc.
So what is next is that we will be organizing a business incubator so that we can get people to work in a local food business, and that we also in other areas of Santa Barbara County hope to work on other models. So in the west side of Santa Barbara, we'll be part of a West Side Health Impact Group that's going to be working in a different way. Okay, thanks. Sorry, you blew the time.
Oh, no, that's fine. We'll make up for it elsewhere. Great. All right, so our next impact group is, I'll go ahead and put that slide up, is around the issues of higher education. So I'd like to introduce Claudia Johnson, Director of Dual Enrollment at SBCC.
Thank you all, and I'll make up the time. So, as you can see, our Higher Ed Impact Group meets as needed and regularly, thank goodness. That's probably one of the greatest gifts of the Food Action Plan, is just facilitating that time for people from all these institutions to sit at the same table and come up with amazing ideas, as we always can. So UCSB, Santa Barbara City College, Westmont, and Allen Hancock. And what we've been working on is addressing food insecurity among college students. It's a big hot topic around the nation. The Chancellor's Office for the California Community Colleges now has a work group on it, so there's a lot of attention on that right now. 47% of Santa Barbara City College students, and we have about 17,000 of them, 47% qualify for the Board of Governors fee waiver, which matches federal poverty guidelines. So we have significant need in our college student populations. Student pantries are up in Allen Hancock and Santa Barbara City College. Okay. And what is really beneficial about the Higher Ed Impact Group and folks at the Community Environmental Council, Emily and Sarah, is the ability, the support of having somebody coordinating these projects. So we can get together and brainstorm and throw things out there and see what sticks, and then Sarah and Emily keep us on task. So, you know, what usually happens is things fizzle because we all have our own jobs and we all have our own institutions and our own politics, and there's this hub of folks that are keeping us on track with the Food Action Plan and our Food Action Plan related goals. So we've already put together a LEAF grant application. We're looking at a USDA grant as well. And we're looking at issues of nutrition, life skills, food security, all these things where we want our college students to be able to be self-sufficient and successful beyond college, but also our college students are also parents. They have families of their own, so we're making a huge impact, already, and then that they'll be able to carry on after they graduate and leave. So already in Santa Barbara City College's first month of having a food pantry and food share distribution system, we've served 1,200 unique students. So that's in 1 month, and that's just kind of a little snippet of what the need is and how we're already starting to make gains in that area. Okay. And what's next? We have several ideas that we've put forward for these grants, and we're really looking at students being peer advocates and peer educators, and we're also trying to use funding to support equity. So a lot of times we say, students get involved, but if we don't support them financially, then only certain students get involved, the ones that can maybe afford to volunteer. So we're really trying to bring equity to that by making sure that this is supported with work study funding, and that we're getting students, we're being equitable and accessing the kind of student that we can really benefit from. We're really excited about doing a needs assessment and a research project with our work study students in the future, specifically on social action research. So we're trying to be very responsible in how we're getting this information and how we're going out into our student community. And one thing that didn't make it up here that I'm just gonna plant a seed is that our students really need kind of the county support to move forward on a petition to the Santa Barbara County to allow the hot meal or the restaurant meal program as part of CalFresh. So a lot of our students do not have access to, they're either homeless or they have limited access to being able to cook for themselves, and you cannot really succeed as a student if you can't eat well. So we'd really like to make restaurant meal or the hot meal program accessible at the colleges and universities, and that means that a student would be able to use their CalFresh or EBT benefits to purchase hot food at the cafeteria. So that would go a long way into helping students succeed all over the county. All right, thank you.
It's been a really interesting impact group to have been able to sit in on. I've learned just a ton, things you wouldn't even think about. Like I think UCSB is putting up a microwaves throughout the campus to help students because they're not necessarily, like you said, they're either homeless or don't have facilities to cook. So very interesting concepts. All right, our next presenter, unfortunately the tall cowboy with a white hat who normally does this presentation could not be with us this evening. So we're going to have Emily Miller give the Carbon Farming Impact Group presentation.
I should have worn a hat to represent him. So before I start about specifically carbon farming and the Food Action Plan, I thought I'd set us all up with a definition of carbon farming, because although I see a lot of ranchers and farmers in the room and friendly faces, it might not be a familiar concept to everyone. So carbon farming involves implementing practices that are known to improve carbon sequestration, or the rate that CO2 is removed from the atmosphere and converted to plant material or soil organic matter. That's kind of a lot, but essentially it's the idea of managing agricultural lands for carbon storage as a climate change solution. So taking carbon out of the atmosphere and storing it in soils and plant matters. So, and there's the cowboy with the hat. How did you get involved with the Food Action Plan? The carbon farming started off really with a LEAF grant, but a little bit before I got involved in the Food Action Plan, it started with funding for a rancher-to-rancher program, which helped ranchers have on-the-ground peer education throughout the county to learn about more sustainable agricultural management practices. Then during the development of the Food Action Plan process, a lot of conversation centered around how we can make our agricultural system more sustainable to help it become more resilient in light of climate change and drought and different external pressures. So throughout the development of the plan, something that came up again and again was helping our agricultural sector thrive. And this plan really gave us a framework for bridging the agricultural production system with environmental issues and climate change. So really bringing together two sectors or two issues or topics, I don't know how to phrase that, but two things that might not normally be brought up in the same conversation. We could start talking about them and having a framework which was resilient and healthy food system. So that has really been important for us as we go through the carbon farming process. So the food action plan, like I said, has been vital in helping some of our carbon farming successes. Beyond even the conversational topic and framework, LEAF grants have been an essential part of capacity building for project inception, and also capacity building for I got tongue-tied. Fundamental for capacity building for project inception in our pilot project. So we have a pilot project going on right now on a ranch in mid-county, and that's looking at the effects of compost application on grazed rangelands and the effects on forage productivity and carbon sequestration. And a lot of the successes of that pilot project have been initiated with a small LEAF grant applied at the right time for the right task that really spurred a lot of stakeholder and community engagement. And those LEAF grants have also been able to help us bring together a broad network of diverse groups linked by, again, the food system and people interested in sustainability. So I think that has been one of the most immediate impacts of and a really great way to show how appropriate small-scale community foundation grants can spur a huge system, because now we have a lot going on in our carbon farming impact, including outreach to interested environmental stakeholders, facilitation of application for fundings for a California Department of Food and Agriculture Healthy Soils Program grant, stakeholder roundtables that include county supervisors and all different leads from county agencies. So the LEAF grants and Food Action Plan have been a wonderful framework for accomplishing all this work. What's next? So I didn't put any words on this slide because our list is lengthy, but I think definitely continuing to work within the framework of the Food Action Plan and linking the agricultural sector with environmental sustainability, food access, food justice, the broader food system topics we've been hearing about. More concretely, some of the things we're working on is the pilot project and looking at compost applications effect on grazed rangeland, and looking at how we can scale up carbon farming across our agricultural lands as a climate change solution. So taking the agricultural sector from a contributor to climate change to one of its best chances of becoming fixed, however you want to phrase that. And then some other things that I'm happy to talk about more too after, when we're networking and after the community sharing sessions, but looking at compost production and quality, different carbon farming practices, and what ranchers and farmers need to begin implementation of the work on a broader scale. So that's it.
Great. Well, that was it for our impact group presentations. And so now I'm going to bring up Sigrid, the CEO and Executive Director of the Community Environmental Council, who'll take us into our final section here tonight.
Well, thank you, everyone. So as Emily just mentioned, we are planning on giving you plenty of time at the end of the evening to network and ask questions, because I'm sure you must have some, and talk with the folks who just made those presentations. But in order to get to there, I have to be a little bit of a taskmaster. So that is, I think I'm naturally bossy, which is why I ended up with this role. So what we are doing here now is kind of a sharing technique that we stole from Santa Barbara Food Alliance and the Permaculture Network. A few years ago, was anyone here participating in it was called Cultivating Connections, and it was probably, I'm going to guess, Wes Emerging, like 2 years ago. I think a few people, there you are, kind of the early genesis before we started the Food Action Plan. And how this is going to work is we are giving folks 2 minutes to share using a very specific structure, and it's a structure that you just heard here, but we're going to really hold to those 2 minutes. And just by the way, when we did this a couple of years ago, I think there were maybe 20 shares, and 19 of those were right on time, and one wasn't. It was me. So, So I feel you if this feels a little bit rushed, but we're going to, the framework is to share your name and organization or your agency or business, how you're currently working within our region's food system, and how have you connected or how would you like to connect with the Food Action Plan. So we came into the room knowing that there were a few people we wanted to hear from, and we created a sign-up sheet, and I can't see that far, but are there some extra slots? So if you are interested, maybe we can pull that off to the side so people can feel not so shy about coming up. But please come add your name to the list, or if you get inspired along the way. So to that end, and actually what I'm going to do is hand around, we have a couple of microphones, so I might need some helpers out here to get those around. We're going to do this like a game show. So our first speaker here is Amy Derryberry from Veggie Rescue, and we're CEC is so happy to be partnering with Amy on food recovery. Amy, where are you? There we are. So, and then next up is Gunnar. So just if you could just prepare yourself there.
Hi, I'm over here. I'm Amy Derryberry, and I am the Executive Director of Veggie Rescue. We've been around for 7 years. We're based in the San Ynez Valley, but serving the entire Santa Barbara County. We collect excess produce from farms and farmers markets and deliver it to organizations that feed people. We deliver to Santa Barbara Unified School District, Orcutt Unified School District, and a handful of other schools that are utilizing a cooking from scratch program, so they can really utilize our fresh produce. We deliver to Path, Rescue Mission, Salvation Army, in Lompoc to Bridge House, 3 different senior centers in Santa Maria. We're just delving into that area. We're delivering to Salvation Army up there. To date, we've delivered over 700,000 pounds of fresh produce throughout the county. We also deliver to the food bank. The last 3 years, averaging around 30,000 pounds each year to the food bank. We are looking to collaborate further with other people who can move us forward with this work. We're especially looking for farmer connections because that's what we're delivering, is that excess produce from farms. And we have an unlimited opportunity to deliver it to recipient organizations. We're currently we're collaborating with the CEC and poised to start a new pilot program. We're covering prepared food from the Shumash Casino up in the San Ynez Valley and delivering that prepared food to the Buellton Senior Center. I think this is an area that is ripe for growth, delivering prepared food. We've got the support and guidance from the health department on that, so we're looking at that new opportunity and hoping to expand that throughout the county. So,
Thank you. Perfect.
Thank you.
Okay, next up we have Gunnar from Aurelia Ranch.
Hello everyone, pleasure to be here. My name is Gunnar Totrom, born and raised on Aurelia Ranch, a ranch on the Gaviota Coast. It's been in my family for 151 years this year. So I am currently have an agricultural business called Gaviota Givings, as well as an agroforestry woodworking business on the property named Seaborn Designs. And we are currently doing pastured poultry, cooney pigs, and belted Galloway cattle, selling it through the 805 Food Hub. And my connection to this organization and the Food Action Plan was we received a LEAF grant recently where we are focusing on what we're calling SBREP, Santa Barbara Regenerative Agricultural Practices. So we have a small pilot project out on the larger ranch where we're embarking on a lot of these very similar carbon farming practices, but regenerative agricultural practices that we can export to other properties and grow it and figure out how small scale agricultural operations can feed into the larger ag industry here in Santa Barbara County. So we're excited to be here. We're excited to get our program with LEAF off and running. It's been a real good kick in the pants for us to get our strategic plan together. So honored to be here. Thank you.
Next up is Ben York, and after that will be Kim Selko.
Hi everybody, my name is Ben York. I'm representing the William Sansom Diabetes Center, and I'm a research assistant there, but I was born and raised in Santa Barbara my whole life, so the community is very near and dear to me. But I'm here because I want to talk about a really exciting project that we're starting thanks to the generosity of the Santa Barbara Foundation and the LEAF grant that we received. And it's called the Santa Barbara Fresh Food Pharmacy, and pharmacy is with an F. That's key in this concept.
Step forward, see what happens. Step this way.
It's the mic.
We're going to stand you so that people can hear you better.
Do I get extra time? So the Santa Barbara Fresh Food Pharmacy Project is a pilot research study where we will be prescribing fresh vegetables just as you would a medication or a pill to low-income, food-insecure Latino participants with diabetes. And we're targeting that population specifically because the rates of diabetes and food insecurity in this population are much higher than in the background white population. And so, they need our help. And one of the unfortunate aspects of immigration to the United States is that a traditional Latin American diet relies very heavily on fresh vegetables, but that's often left behind when people immigrate to the United States where cheaper processed food is more widely available. So one of the goals of our study is to prescribe very traditional Latin American vegetables and sort of reintroduce them into the diet of our participants, and so that they can be easily incorporated into their daily cooking. And so the project really factors into the food system because the healthcare and the food system really shouldn't be as separate as they are. And so this project will really integrate the field of healthcare into the local food system by bridging the gap between the region's amazing produce supply and the people who live in the region who really need it the most to improve their health and their economic status. And so we've actually begun collaboration with Fairview Gardens, and at the time didn't know that they were also under the umbrella of Santa Barbara Foundation and LEAF grants, but they've agreed to supply a portion of the produce for our study, which we're really excited about. And our project factors into the food action plan, obviously in the goal to improve health and wellness, but also because we're investing in the local food economy by involving local growers. And also, Fairview Gardens is less than 9 miles from our site of distribution, so we're investing in the food shed by really reducing the transportation needed for this study. But we're really excited about the study, and we're very optimistic about the scalability. Our long-term goals for the project are to have fresh food pharmacies in each part of Santa Barbara County, and then even beyond that eventually. One of the goals is to establish a framework where that can be rolled out successfully. So, thank you.
Thank you, Ben. We'll hear from Kim about fish, and then in a moment we'll hear from Nancy Weiss.
Yes, I'm very excited to be representing 3/4 of the planet here, the oceans in Santa Barbara, and also because Santa Barbara Channel is one of the most productive ocean systems in the world, and it has the potential to grow more food and healthy food for our community than any of the land. Not that it's a competition, but we have a lot of potential in the water, and it's been really hard to turn that into reality. And I'm working with the commercial fishermen of Santa Barbara as their executive director right now. I'm a professor at the Bren School, and I'm also working with the Chamber of Commerce to liaison with their networks and get things going in our community. I'm especially interested in connecting with the nutrition side of the food action plan because seafood is the most nutrient-dense animal protein by far that you can get, and also has the lowest carbon footprint and environmental impact by far. People eat about 200 pounds of meat in this country each year, 45 pounds of French fries, and 15 pounds of seafood, only one of which tends to be American caught seafood. Our channel here, our fishermen bring in over 11 million pounds of seafood each year, and very little of that stays in our community. And some of it is extremely affordable. We've got mussels and crab for $3 a pound, readily available. And one thing I've been doing is working with a Saturday fisherman's market, Saturday morning, 6 to 11 a.m. on the pier, and getting that going. I've got flyers back there, trying to get these sources of access to affordable, really fresh seafood. But people in the community also need to learn how to cook it and get comfortable with it and get it into even more convenient locations. So I'm working on all sorts of programs to get into the food bank, the school district, start a community supported fishery program again. I'm looking for partners, interns, and impact investors. So please do look me up and contact me. Thank you very much.
Next, and soon after that will be Lacey from Fairview Gardens, and I'm just going to ask the speakers to keep their eyes on Emily back here. She's going to cue you when you're getting close to your time. So, Nancy.
Okay. Hi, I'm Nancy Weiss. I'm the Director of Food Service for Santa Barbara Unified School Districts. Hello, everybody. I sat with the advisory group when we first started the Food Action Plan a few years ago. I was honored to be part of that work, and I am trying very hard to procure local ingredients in all of our scratch cooked meals, work with Harvest Santa Barbara, Veggie Rescue, and we work with some farmers specifically in the community. It is a goal of mine to really, as much as possible, generate income and keep it within the community. So with that, we've also had the permission from the new superintendent, Carrie Matsuoka, who has allowed us to begin plans to farm a property that the district owns. It's called Hidden Valley. It's going to be called Hidden Valley Farm, and we're hoping to really come full circle and start producing and growing for the school district in consortium with other farmers in the community. I'll be reaching out to Jasper for direction and guidance. We had talked long ago about a farm to school grant, but I really do believe that it's time that we start growing our own, employing our own, and really turning around what has become a national epidemic of diabetes and obesity by really enhancing the use of plants. We're turning more and more to plant-based entrees on our school menus. We've discovered a very nice product called Hungry Planet. It's non-GMO soy that we've been using on our menus, and kids are really accepting of it. Adults are really happy about it. And I am looking forward to the future and to see how much more we can do, because there is so much more to do. And when I look around and see all of these people in this room targeted on the same issue, it's just really, really uplifting, and I'm so happy. So, thank you.
Really enjoyed hearing from you, and I think you may be the first person yet who hasn't been funded by Leaf, so that's a good one. So, Lacey.
My name is Dr. Paul DPS. I am the Executive Director at the Center for Urban Agriculture at Fairview Gardens. We're a nonprofit educational farm in Goleta. And what we're currently doing is education. We do farm and food education.
Hold your mic up.
In my first 6 months there, the first thing we did was we took one field and we divided it right down the middle. In one half of the field, we did a full permaculture style production system, and in the other half of the field, we did a more traditional tillage type of production system. And in observing those two systems over the past 6-7 months, what we've come to is that there are truly pros and cons of each system. And in keeping in line with our ideals around farm and food education, what we decided to do was scale up both, and also introduce another type of food production system that we can then continue to train people on. And so with the help of a LEAF grant, we have created a Sustainable Food System Entrepreneurship Academy, which will be launched next year. For that, we're inviting farm trainees to come to our land and learn permaculture style food production, tillage production, a food forest type of production, in addition to our orchard care system and egg production. And so we're happy to partner with the Sansum Diabetes Center, which Ben mentioned. Our farm trainees will be learning how to farm on our property, and the food that they grow will be donated to support the Fresh Food Pharmacy. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you. Next up is Jasper, and after Jasper is Lynn.
Hi, my name's Jasper Eiler, and I'm the owner of Harvest Santa Barbara. We've been in business for about 5 years, helping connect our community with our farmers and representing our farmers for helping them sell their food, get the produce they grow into unlikely places that are challenging for an individual farmer to sell to. So we've worked with several institutions, including the Santa Barbara School District and UCSD, and we sell to small independent grocery stores and restaurants and caterers, juice companies, broad range of customers, and all the way up to Paso Robles and down to Venice and out to Occidental College. So we've got in business hoping we could just keep our food within our community, and that's been really challenging. Our farmers, the ones we work with, which is about 85 in a given year, are very capable. They can grow a lot of food, and we're working with the relatively small farmers in our community, many of which sell at the farmers market, but many of them don't have a spot at the farmers market, and they're just growing too much food, and it has been challenging for us to get it throughout our local community. So we have trucks, we handle logistics, we sometimes get up to 20 different crops from 10 to 20 different farms on pallets that go to various places. So it's a lot of logistics, but I got into this because I wanted to just work to really help our community eat well and taste good produce. I worked in school gardens previously and at Fairview Gardens for years, and with Tom Shepard, and just getting the connections made it's pretty complex. So we've been fortunate to be involved with the Food Action Plan, and I think there's a lot of opportunity for us to help several organizations move food around the county and get it to good places. So thanks.
Excellent. Thank you. Sara Antonelli.
Hi, my name is Lynn Carlisle. I'm the co-executive director of the Cuyama Valley Family Resource Center. So Cuyama is well represented here tonight, which is really exciting and remarkable because we don't hear Cuyama mentioned very often. We are sort of at the end of the pipeline of all these big ideas and all this generating new concepts and new ways of getting more food to stay here. We actually deliver the food. We do those long lines that Eric was talking about, and you might have taken that picture in Cuyama. I think that's what it looks like up there. And but we deliver and distribute food 3 times a month, year in and year out. I've been doing it for 18 years with the help of the food bank and Catholic Charities. So it's that early collaboration in a community like that that's pretty amazing. It is very, very, very hard work. So it's very wonderful to see this new energy that's focused on distributing more food, getting more food into the hands of people in a place like Cuyama. You may not know this, but there's 2 very tiny grocery stores there, very little fresh produce, even though it's an agricultural hub. And much of the groundwater is going to that agriculture, but that's another subject. And but the closest grocery store is 40 miles away, maybe an hour. Most people go up to Bakersfield, go to Costco. So we're talking food desert is a real food desert. If you run out of milk in the evening, you don't go get milk. You just wait till the next day. So we really just want to thank everybody for all the partnerships we've had. The Santa Barbara Foundation has helped us. We do not have a LEAF grant, but I'll put it on my list. And just the new collaboration that we can do more with Blue Sky and the Food Action Plan. And if you think about where the end result is, the end of the funnel of all this energy, if you want to put it somewhere in North County that most people don't think of Cuyama. So get in touch. Thank you.
Nick, can't quite see your last name, Nick, but you know who you are. Sarah?
Sorry, Nick. Yeah. Hi, I'm Sara Antonelli. I'm part-time at Community Environmental Council right now, so all of this food work is right in my wheelhouse. I'm working a lot with Amy Derryberry, the first presenter from Veggie Rescue, as well as Dan, who might be in the audience somewhere from the city of Santa Barbara, to start working on a food recovery network throughout the whole county. So Amy's project is really, really great and powerful, and we're hoping to have that be our ground truthing piece to demonstrate to potential food donors that yes, you can donate your excess food. Like, yes, of course, don't throw it in the trash. Like, we want to send that to people. It's so edible. It's good. It's great. So we're hoping that the Chumash project will be really great to demonstrate those success stories. And I'm right now fleshing out that network far and wide, reaching out to restaurants, grocery stores, caterers, hotels, you name it. I'm trying to talk to them. So I would love any of your support. If you know of anyone who might be interested in joining as a donor, these types of networks have been really successful throughout California already. So we just want to bring it home to Santa Barbara. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we're going to go to Nick and then Danielle Marquez.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Nick. I am currently serving the Associated Student Government at SB City College. My position is the Commissioner of Sustainability. The position entails me chairing an internal committee on campus that's run by students where we work to implement sustainability measures on campus. With our guiding plan of action being the Santa Barbara City College District Sustainability Plan. And so through that, some of the projects we work on are working to increase local food access in the cafeteria. In addition to that, working to increase sustainable food options in the cafeteria, so more like vegetarian and vegan options, more local meats, things like that. And in addition to this work at City College, I'm also co-managing and co-designing an emerging permaculture farm in the Mission Canyon area. And as of right now, I'm not directly involved in the Santa Barbara Food Action Plan, but I would like to learn more about it. I'm starting to learn more tonight, and I've heard a little bit about it in the past, not too much. So I'm looking forward to just extending collaborations in that area. Thank you very much.
Excellent. Next up is Daniel Marquez, and then Charles Barth.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Daniel Marquez. I'm a fourth generation Santa Barbara. I was invited tonight by Wes and Margie. We have, actually I'm the proud owner of Pharmacy, which is a 25-acre ocean lease right here in Galena, California. Pharmacy can be set up for growing kelp for the food industry. We're going to be looking to add mussels to our lease. We currently have the only lease, bottled water lease, in state waters. And I just want to come out here and introduce myself. Thank you.
You guys are doing great on time. Thank you. I know this is kind of a tight construct, so I appreciate it. We're going to talk to Charles, and after that, Frank Fernandez.
My name is Charles Barth. I'm here in two capacities. I function on the California Department of Food and Ag Farmers Market Advisory Committee. As the public member, I'm obsessed with farmers markets and spend quite a bit of time up here at your fantastic farmers market on Saturdays, buying locally grown grains from regionally grown heritage grains from Lompoc area, which are produced highest nutrition as compared to the low nutrition average wheat that's produced. I encourage you to scratch the surface, spend as much time at the market as possible. It's gotten me very intimate with most of the producers in the area, food distribution, meat. I'm quick not to throw the local meat system under the bus, as you have people here who are great representatives of sustainable systems for meat, and it's higher nutritional density. So Gunnar, Jesse, those are mentorship positions in your region that you need to recognize for their value and replication. The other capacity is as the head of Slow Food Ventura County, and as Ventura County, don't judge us by our name. Slow Food is an international and national organization that focuses on recognizing through slow food those food traditions and those resources that are under threat from the expansion of industrial type practices. So just think of language's disappearance and culture's disappearance. Within the community here, all of these organizations are working to recognize what assets are there that you're feeding and making sure communities imagine them losing their food assets and then their cultural identity. So we work on that preservation, and we put dinners together, and primarily it's a networking organization. And through our international organization and our state representation, we put people together. Many of you here kind of know me and see me, and my goal is to go back to Los Angeles and take the message to Ventura County and everybody else, all the food resources that we see that are coming from Santa Barbara. So today was the Wednesday Farmers Market, and due to the wholesale operations that have been implemented there, they are allowed, you have a lot of farmers growing here who sell to 50, 75 restaurants in Los Angeles and Santa Monica, where they tout the best, farm to table. Anyway, I'm active in the area, and I would love to see nutritional density focused on, and the ability to take a look at diabetes and the value of the local food that's grown here has the highest nutritional density. Your local food systems have the best protections against the food problems that we're going to be facing in the future. And the diabetes organization, wear continuous glucose monitors, see how good food. I would love to see some kind of study that would allow you to take a look at the benefits of locally eaten nutritional food and that density along with those cultural food things.
Great comments. Thank you. We'll hear next from Frankie Fernandez and then Kendra Weiss.
There we go. Hi everyone, my name is Frankie Fernandez. I'm here representing the Terrace Foundation. We're a new nonprofit in Santa Barbara. We've just kind of finished our strategic planning phase, and when we were doing that, kind of our main goal was to basically just go through the food action plan and cherry pick items that we thought we could tackle. So to everyone involved in creating that, you guys made our job a ton easier. Big shout out. Our goal is essentially, as kind of the plan dictates, to help reduce food insecurity in Santa Maria and the food desert east Cuyama. And we have kind of a particular fastball, so to speak, in implementing kind of the healthy access points part of the plan, and that's we are cultivating vegetables hydroponically and in small spaces using less energy. So our goal is to bring these to those neighborhoods and kind of engage in small-scale distribution to the neighborhoods that need it. So additionally, we're also going to be doing some educational components there on cooking these vegetables and selected fruits that we can grow. So anyone who has experience in that area, we'd love to hear from you, or who might benefit from some of these vegetables that we'll be growing. We'd love to hear from you. Thank you.
Thank you. So we're going to hear next from Kendra Weiss from the county, and then coming up would be Julian Lynn.
Hi, my name is Kendra Wise, and with me is Susan Lyles. We're representing the Public Health Department here tonight. I work with Environmental Health Services, and Susan is involved with our Nutrition Services program. So we are your local support and regulatory agents, at least in environmental health. Susan provides, and her team provides a tremendous amount of education to our community on nutrition and food. So we're here for slightly different angles.
Yeah, right. And basically through the Public Health Department with the Public Health Alliance of Southern California, which represents us all the way to San Diego, we're really big right now working on food waste. And both sides, environmental health and nutrition services, increasing education to people about food waste and nutrition, as well as kind of working with the restaurants, grocery stores, who else are, schools, everybody. Everybody about food waste. Yeah, working with the CEC, working with the city of Santa Barbara, everybody kind of moving towards that.
And in environmental health, we regulate all the local retail food facilities. And so those of you who are involved with grocery stores and farmers markets and cottage food operations and festivals and restaurants, we're your local regulatory agency. And I wanted to make a plug for us because while we are involved with making sure that California Health and Safety Code is followed, we are also really interested in providing technical support to food agencies in the area. We want to be able to give you our technical expertise and our support and assistance as we develop new food systems in the county. Right now, that's showing up in the form of working and collaborating with agencies that are interested in food recovery, and in other areas as well. We're interested in helping develop new markets and new approaches to marketing. We did some work with Farmers Market and the Fisherman's Market. So that's something that we are intending to continue.
Also, one plug, on November 2nd, there's the Healthy Eating Active Living Summit. Registration is still open, and one of the pillars is going to be food systems and kind of the built environment that we have right now in the county around that. So great speakers. So registration.
In Buellton.
All there.
Thank you. I just wanted
attest to the County Public Health being a great partner, and isn't often that you can say that about a regulatory agency, and you guys have been really great to work with. So Julia Blanton is next, and then Josh Graining.
Hello, my name is Julia Blanton. Here in my own capacity, kind of just to see what that food action plan that's often and what community partners were available. Currently working in clinical nutrition after studying nutrition at school, but when it's looked for more opportunities for volunteering, currently I've worked with Anne in volunteering at the food bank, as well as things like Channel Islands restoration and habitat restoration. So it's not limited to just nutrition education, because more of my interest is in public health and whole food access and food systems. So if anyone needs volunteers or has any interest in that, feel free to get my contact information. Thank you.
Okay, Josh, and then Melissa Cohen.
Hi there, I'm Josh Graining. I'm a Santa Barbara local, born and raised. I work for a couple different organizations. One is Sweetwater Collaborative. It's a 501c3 nonprofit where we do graywater and rainwater education, permaculture design, and try to grow food and native plants. And also I work for Regen Cooperative, where we are a worker-owned cooperative. We're a licensed contractor. We do basically the same work that Sweetwater does as well, rainwater and graywater. So, also working on a new project with a couple pals here in the back of the room. We're working on forming a cooperative farm venture as well. We're working on the worker-owned cooperative style. So hopefully working towards figuring out a way to connect with the community and grow more local food, and doing carbon sequestration and no-till agriculture and things like this. So that's really where our goal is. So we're looking forward to reach out with the food action plan and see how things go from there. Thank you.
We have Melissa, Food Co-op, and then Avery Hardy will be next.
Hi everyone, my name is Melissa Cohen. I'm the general manager of our Island Vista Food Co-op. I love that I got to go after people talking about cooperatives. We are your county's only consumer-owned grocery store. I also feel really blessed to have served on the Food Action Plan Advisory Board. The co-op is now approaching its 46th year in business. I'm really proud to say we have 40 employees, 11 of whom are full-time. About 5 years ago, we started to really build some partnerships specific towards the county food bank and then targeted to UCSB elementary. Thinking that we could do a much better job as a community-owned grocery store to bridge the access point between the store and people that needed to buy higher quality food, make it more affordable. At the time, I thought it was going to be easy. We'll just build the partnerships and we'll open the door and it will all work out. It wasn't that easy, but it was actually really good timing. I'm really humbled that I also have the opportunity to serve on the UCSB Global Food Initiative Chancellor's Food Security Task Force, within which we started to cultivate really deep connections between the co-op and UCSB and the Isla Vista community. So I'm proud to say that as of our last fiscal year closing, which just happened, we grew our CalFresh redemption from $28,000 when we started this in 2013 to $128,000 this year. So really spectacular connections we fostered with CalFresh advocates through the Global Food Initiative and funding and this partnership we developed. We have advocates in the store. You can sign up for CalFresh twice a week, and we're really proud of that connection. My management team is making a living wage. The co-op is profitable. What does that mean for this community? It means that we don't actually need the LEAF grant because this is a resource regenerative business, right? And so I believe that small business can be quite large in its impact, and the co-op is proving that. We don't have the usual base of customers that the co-op would have, but we have a growing ownership base. We're connecting to people in a different way. We use education and outreach as the baseline of how we do everything. We generate all of our capital that we do our education with through selling groceries. So you live with what? Groceries. You get groceries, we take your income, we use it to build a better community. Our grocery store is stronger. We own the building now. Do our community engagement work, new equipment. We want to show what's possible with the Food Action Plan moving forward. I do want to connect and more work with Kuyama, where we're starting to actually have some conversations. I do see lots of possibles. I see actually possibles with things like LEAF grants to get a truck to do more distribution in the community. I also see potential in activating more small areas around our grocery stores. If you don't know how to get around a grocery store, maybe I can help teach you, because that's what co-ops actually are about, is sharing that model. Thank you.
Thank you, and for those of you who didn't listen, though, that was a record time. Thank you. Avery is next, and then Katie Maynard.
Cool, thanks Melissa. Hey, I'm Avery Hardy, and I'm the Research and Monitoring Coordinator at Quail Springs Permaculture, which is a 450-acre teaching and demonstration site, also in the Cuyama Valley. So awesome that Cuyama is so well represented today. Awesome. So Quail Springs, our vision is really to equip students of all ages with the skills to implement truly regenerative ecological design principles and projects in their communities, from backyard homesteads to much larger scale farms and ranches. And we do primarily serve Santa Barbara, both in the Cuyama Valley and in our other communities as well as our constituency. I'm really excited about the ways in which we're already serving the Food Action Plan's vision by acting as a bioregional hub for site-appropriate regenerative agriculture education. So with our nonprofit programming, we're primarily centering on equipping folks with the ecological literacy and the technical skills to move beyond sustainability into building a really regenerative vision for both land stewardship and for our food systems. And not least importantly, for those of you who have been to our site will be able to attest to this, our 450-acre site and 20-person on-site, totally off-the-grid community is a demonstration site and a living lab where we can experimentally implement really innovative techniques, not just in permaculture, but also in carbon farming, holistic management, silvopasture, and a host of other techniques. So our land is really a huge resource that allows us to experiment. And for anyone who's interested and not familiar with our work, I will pass along that you can check us out at quailsprings.org, or you can reach out to me personally. My email is Avery, A-V-E-R-Y, at quailsprings.org. And in particular, with my work, I'm interested in developing and incubating a new research program where, like I said, we can field test some of these practices that are more on the live edge of where research is occurring around regenerative agriculture and carbon stewardship. So, thanks everyone.
Hi, my name is Katie Maynard, and I'm from UC Santa Barbara. I'm part of the UC Global Food Initiative, which is looking at creating a sustainable food system UC-wide and using resources to look at global food issues as well. This was initially started by President Napolitano, who's the president of all of our 10 campuses, and it really represents how all 10 campuses can come together to create large-scale change. So we're really looking at this at the system-wide as well as the local level. We believe it's really important to support our local farmers, and we show that in our purchasing. 47% of the produce we buy for our dining commons is sustainable. 39% comes within 250 miles, and 30% comes within 150 miles of the campus. And we've utilized a lot of partnerships with each of you to make that happen. We couldn't have done that on our own. Within the UC Global Food Initiative, we have a number of efforts. We have our Healthy Campus Network, which aims to make UC the healthiest place to live, work, and learn for students, staff, and faculty. So we're bringing all areas of health together, both food health, but also mental health, physical health, environmental health, social and psychological health. We're pulling it all together. We're also working on our food security task force, as Melissa talked quite a bit about. Our Food from the Sea initiative, trying to look at our sea as one of the great resources, communicating science to the public through the CLEAR initiative, and our Edible Campus program to try to use our campus to grow food as well. We're currently looking at food security in a couple of major areas. Right now, 48% of our undergraduate students are facing food insecurity, 31% of our graduate students. So food security is a significant issue for UC campuses. We're looking at trying to address this through direct service. 3,000, we are aiming to register 3,000 students in CalFresh this year. We already registered over 400 students in CalFresh in the last 3 weeks alone, which is almost what we did last year. We have 2 food pantries on the campus and 3 different projects to grow food on campus: our urban orchard, our hydroponic gardens, and our student farm, which is hopefully opening in winter or spring quarter. We look at community communication and education of both our service providers and our students, structural and policy changes, looking at housing inequities, internships, and making sure students have access to paid internships, and textbook programs as well. We served on the advisory board of the Food Security Action Plan. We're also involved in the Higher Education Impact Group, the Food Recovery Impact Group, and our Carbon Farming Group for our faculty. In terms of potential partnerships, and I swear I'll wrap up, my last piece, we have a great work study program. If you're thinking about hiring internships, we can cover half of the wages through our work study program that is available for folks off campus, so come chat with me if you want to hire students. We're a great resource for research, and remember, all of our students and staff and faculty, we live right here in the community, so we want to look at how we can connect the services we have on our campus with the services in the community. Thank you so much.
Okay, and then we're going to hear from Alex Beretta.
Back here. Can you guys hear me? I don't need a microphone. Well, thank you all for having me out here tonight. My name is Alex, and I'm the Education Director with Explore Ecology. So Explore Ecology does a lot of different things in the community. The thing that most aligns with the Food Action Plan is our school garden program that we run. So we are contracted by 35 local schools to manage and lead standards-based education in their school garden. We actually have a garden educator sitting right here, a live one right in front of us. So we really want to make sure that these lessons align with what's happening in the classroom. So our garden educators meet regularly with the classroom teachers, find out about what themes, what subjects they're going to be covering, and then find garden lessons from our database that align with what they're doing. So as far as the LEAF grant, which we did get, and we're so excited and so happy to get that LEAF grant, we've had this program for a little while now, a couple of years, and we're really trying to shore up our systems. We feel like we've gained such great support from all the school districts we work with, all the PTAs we work with, all the teachers, all the students, and the greater school communities. And this LEAF grant is really going to help us to be able to build up our training documents for our staff. Hopefully it'll increase some staff retention. We'll be able to keep some people around for a really long time so they can get really, really good at what they do. We also we receive a lot of requests from schools outside of Santa Barbara County who are interested in school gardens. So we want to create some sort of a replicable model that we can pass out to those schools and say, hey, here's a real simple 1, 2, 3 step plan that you can start integrating a school garden into your curriculum and into your school. And the last that we want to do, the last thing we're going to focus on with our LEAF grant is connecting further with food services at the different school districts we work with. We have a great connection with Nancy at Santa Barbara Unified. We actually have a garden down at Franklin School. If you guys haven't seen it, it's pretty awesome. And it was installed as an edible food for us. So that food is being grown directly by one of our staff, and it's going directly to Nancy's staff in the kitchens, being prepared and served to the students. The students are having a hand in growing the produce, they're harvesting it, they're hopefully helping prepare it a little bit, they're eating it most importantly, and then they're taking what's left and putting it into the compost